So I was first involved with DCF when my daughter was born, and then they closed the case, and then that was just a quick um, dealing with them quickly. And then my daughter was living with her mother, and her mother had multiple 51As opened against her, and DCF was involved because of her. And eventually it got so bad that I had to get custody, and I was not, involved or a reason of the DCF being involved, the case being open. So when I got custody of my daughter, they followed my daughter. They told me it was going to be like 30 days or whatever because she's going to a new house, make sure she's safe, make sure she's all right. And they stayed much longer than that. I had a whole bunch of different workers, and they judged me by my past, and they would sit there and basically interrogate me at the meeting and just waiting for something bad to happen. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just, working. I turned my life around, was working, taking care of my daughter, doing what I had to do, and they just thought that there was something going on that wasn't. DCF thought something, I don't know what they thought, but they just didn't want to take it for what it was, and they wanted to stay involved for no reason. So DCF would come to my house, and instead of checking on my daughter, they didn't talk to my daughter, they didn't look in her room, they didn't see if there was food in the fridge. They would sit me down at the table. I felt like I was at a police station, and they would just sit there. DCF would sit there and ask a bunch of questions and just interrogate you. So DCF remained in my life, and they kept, basically trying to bully me. So I had enough was enough. So I needed to hire a lawyer. So when I was looking to hire a lawyer, I wanted to do all or nothing. So I looked for the best attorney I could find. I did my research. I found Mr. Kevin Seaver, and he had great reviews. I also talked to somebody who recommended him, and he had, like I said, great reviews, 5 stars. And I went to meet him in person, and when I met him, I thought he was a great guy. He was very adamant, intelligent, well-spoken. He knew what he was talking about. He put in the footwork. He wasn't scared to ask questions. He wasn't scared to set DCF straight. He's just a very good lawyer. He's very adamant, like I said, well-spoken. He's witty. He's quick with the answers. They're always correct. And he's just a great lawyer. And like I said, the reason I chose him is because I wanted to close the case. I didn't want this to keep going on, so I wanted just to nip it in the butt and get a lawyer that could handle the DCF. And me, my wife, him, and his paralegal, frankly, sat down and came up with a plan, a strategy, and basically just get all my ducks in a row, dot all my I's and cross my T's. So I'd get all the paperwork for my daughter for her doctor's appointments, all her school papers, anything I had in black and white to say that, what needed to be done was being done, and plus some. But he gave me a great strategy and ways to go about it. And Attorney Seaver's strategy was very successful and very well planned and thought through, and taught me successfully how to fight DCF. In the beginning, DCF was very tough, and like I said, they would, interrogate me like they were the police. And then by the end, Mr. Seaver helped me completely turn it around 180, and by the end they were 100% on my side, very friendly, nice, asking me what they could do to help. DCF worked with me in the spirit of cooperation in the end, which turned the negative into a positive, and it was just a very great outcome, as it should have been in the beginning. Mr. Seaver made it happen. I would rate Attorney Seaver on a scale of 1 to 10 as a 10, absolutely. He's very professional, very well-spoken, friendly, goes out of his way to help you. He's the only attorney I've ever had that gave me his personal cell phone, that would answer my calls whenever I call. If not, he would call me back within minutes. His team is great too. He 100% helped me meet my goals, actually to exceed to meet my goals, because I had full confidence that we could close the case, but not to the extent where DCF was friendly, in a friendly manner. In the last couple of meetings we had, we were sitting there joking, talking around the table like we were all friends, and it was just an amazing experience. I didn't think that was possible, to actually go that far and exceed the expectations that I had. A lot of the DCF workers are there for the job. It's not their heart's not in the right place, and it was actually nice to see that they were actually human and had a heart at the end, and we could actually sit there like civilized people and talk a conversation, and all have the same goal, and genuinely want better for my daughter and to keep her safe and her be in the right place. In the beginning, DCF treated me with absolutely no respect, no dignity, no nothing. They treated me like a criminal. And with the help of Kevin, that turned around, and in the end, they would treat me like a human being. They were respectful, and I didn't think that could happen. And it was a great experience. No matter how disrespectful or rude DCF was, Kevin always treated them with dignity and respect, and was always nice to them. And in the end, I think that helped out a lot, because I just couldn't believe how it turned around and they took a liking to me and to Kevin. And like I said, he was throughout the whole time, kept his cool, was very nice to them, always respectful, always well spoken, always has the correct answers at the right time, and he's just did a great job. I would highly recommend Attorney Kevin Seaver to others, because he's just a great guy generally as a person and as a lawyer, amazing lawyer. And I just had a great experience from everything from the first day I came to meet him, and being welcomed into his office and offered drinks, food, everything, always making sure that you're comfortable. He's just a great guy. He did an amazing job. He exceeded my expectations, and I couldn't be happier, and I would highly recommend him. So my advice would be to absolutely do not hesitate to hire a lawyer. There's no price on getting custody of your child or making sure your child is safe. My advice would be to absolutely hire Mr. Seavers, because in the beginning I was hesitant to hire a lawyer, and I was worried about money and all this type of stuff, but in the end, there's no price you can put on it. I would not hesitate to hire Mr. Seaver, because, like I said, there's no price that you can put on it, and he's very, very good, and knows how to handle DCF, knows what to say, completely honest, respectful, very good experience. I've dealt with a lot of lawyers, I've hired many lawyers, and I've never had an experience like I had with Kevin. To be honest, the reputation of a lawyer is not the best, and he completely, if you're going through this for the first time, I would not hesitate to hire Mr. Seaver, because in the beginning, I was hesitant because I've dealt with many lawyers in the past, and I've never had a good experience. A lot of them lie to you, and in it for the money, stuff like that. But Mr. Seaver turned the stigma around of lawyers. He's a great guy. He's in it to help you. He's not there for the money. He's there because he's trying to help people, and he gets you results. He gets the job done, and he does a good job doing it. He gave me hope, and better than that, he gave me results, because in the beginning, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was scared, I was nervous. It's the most nerve-wracking thing when you're thinking that your child could be taken and put into a stranger's home, and you have to deal with DCF, and you're nervous about that, anxiety-ridden. Then you have to go meet with a lawyer, and you're nervous about that. But then I met Mr. Seaver, and he was very confident, and I was happy with him, and he never judged me. He did it. He advocated for me 100%. He was just very good, and I couldn't be happier. It was the best experience I've ever had with a lawyer. So do not hesitate to hire him. Okay. Mr. Seaver got all the paperwork, all the documents, 51As on my daughter's mother for years that I've never even seen or know of. He dug very deep, he did a lot of footwork, and he got all the paperwork, went through everything, put it all together, took out everything that was good and put it on a piece of paper so we could show DCF, and he actually referenced the page numbers where everything could be found, all facts, put them on a piece of paper, told you where to find it next to each thing he put on there, and it blew it out of the water. The DCF did not know. I didn't, like, it looked so good, and it was just so, it was perfect, and they were amazed. They didn't know what to do. They didn't even understand why this case was still going on. He took all the things, everything that we should be doing and that they wanted, all the expectations of DCF, he put on there that were done, plus some, everything else that was done, and just showed them in black and white, not just me saying it, not anybody saying it, but actual proof. And we all know that DCF doesn't even know the documents or read through them or know the case. And Mr. Seaver took all the documents, went through them, knew everything, and showed them what they didn't even know that was their documents, and they didn't even know what to say. He won my case, he closed my case, and I'm thrilled. Kevin Seaver taught me how to successfully fight DCF, and not only fight them, but actually use them as a tool, and they were on my side and became friends at the end, and I didn't think that was possible. Like I said, he blew my expectations out of the water. He actually taught me that DCF are human beings too, because I didn't think so, and we never got along before, never saw eye to eye, and at the end we were sitting at the same table, having conversations, laughing, and we successfully closed the case, and I have my daughter, and she's safe and happy and where she's supposed to be, and it was a great experience. And actually, in the end, DCF were actually decent people, which is crazy to say, and it's weird to say, but it's the truth, and Kevin made it possible.